going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. So I got to see Aquaman 2, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom in theaters, and let's just say it is definitely a DCEU movie. Kind of disappointing. Let's talk about it.
Modern Movie Review.
Alrighty, so I do want to go ahead and start off by saying I do think that this movie is very fitting for superhero movies in general this year, that this is the last one, because this year is a pretty not great year for superhero movies. I feel like we had some really good ones, but then there were also some really bad ones. And as far as the shows this year, I feel like a lot of the superhero shows have been decent if we don't talk about Secret Invasion. But yeah, this movie was incredibly underwhelming. I'm really upset because for the longest time I had very little expectations for this movie, but they earned my faith and my trust back really recently. So I was like, okay, leading up to this movie, like the entire month of December, I'm like, okay, this movie's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. But on TikTok, they've been posting like a couple of scenes and stuff from it, and all of the scenes that they've showed on TikTok and the like little clippets that they keep showing are the best parts of the movie. And it was very disappointing when I watched the movie, and it was not great. So, gonna go ahead and give out a spoiler warning for people who do not, for people who are worried that this movie might get spoiled to them. I feel like this movie really can't be ruined via spoilers or anything like that, but follow along with your own discretion. If you guys are going to see this movie and you don't want it spoiled, feel free to click off and maybe watch this video later. But that being said, we're gonna dive right into this. So, right off the bat, I want to go ahead and say, this movie is interesting because it's kind of trying to tackle a very big topic, and I feel like it is also not wanting to actually talk about the topic head on, and it's wanting to just kind of tiptoe its way around the topic, and I feel like it fails so miserably in that front, because this movie has been said over the last couple of years or whatever, because this movie's been in production for a really long time, it's been said that this was going to be a movie that kind of had a commentary on global warming. And in this movie, there are definitely sequences where they're like, okay, yeah, global warming is going to be a very big thing. Global warming is going to be a part of it. There's a lot of sequences where we see the newscasters are talking about, oh my God, there's just really bad storms. And oh my God, there's this thing that's happening. Oh my God, there's this thing that's happening. But there is at no point in this movie a time where global warming actually feels like a threat to any of the characters, to any of, the cities involved, or to anything like that. And I think that that's such a missed opportunity, because I feel like as far as threats go in this movie, you have Black Manta, and that's pretty much it. And it really bothers me because having a more natural enemy that Aquaman would also have to face now that he's becoming a king would be great, but instead they don't really have that. A lot of the political aspects with this, with him being king and having to learn new, rules and learning how to be a ruler, very underwhelming. They just pretty much threw it into the movie because they're like, well, at the end of the last movie we made him a king, we gotta have him in this. And I was really expecting this movie to take, a form of kind of like Thor the Dark World, where it's like a good brother buddy cop movie. And I was expecting Arthur and Orm to go on this adventure together, and all throughout the adventure, either Aquaman would learn from Orm and kind of figure out how to be a good king, or he'll realize he was never really meant to be king and he'll let Orm take over the throne. And neither of those two things really ended up happening. They have a bunch of bickering little brothers, and they have a bunch of arguings, and they have a bunch of fun little interactions here and there, but they never learn anything from each other. Neither of them really have character arcs at all, and it's really annoying to me. I feel like this movie had a lot of potential if they focused on the characters, and they did not focus on the characters. And I don't know what they did focus on, because none of it seemed like it had been fully thought out, except for the lore, but they didn't know how they were going to say the lore, so they just literally would have just, oh, by the way, we've got about 15 minutes with good action sequences and funny scenes and stuff like that. We're going to have this doctor come on, and he's just going to narrate everything that we need to know in order to understand the plot. And they basically just spoon feed the plot to us. They basically are explaining this dark Triton, and the power of it is literally they'll stop the movie and have people just stand in a circle and talk about what this artifact is. And it bothers me so much because superhero movies have been a thing for about 15 years. And I think that some of the best superhero movies are the ones where they have mysterious artifacts that we don't fully understand. Like when the Infinity Stones first started showing up in the Marvel movies, I think that something that helped make them as interesting as they were was the fact that they were kind of mysterious. There were stuff that our heroes didn't quite understand, and there were things that they were threatening because they're this ultra mega powerful power, and we had no idea how to combat that. And it was interesting watching our heroes learn how to combat that. But in this, we basically watched Aquaman stand in a circle with 2 other people or 3 other people, and they're like, oh, this is what this is. This is how you fight it, and this is exactly how you're going to win this fight. And it's really annoying because it's like the superhero of this movie is not the superhero of this movie. He doesn't really save the day. He doesn't really save other people's lives. He gets into a bunch of reckless fights because he's stupid and he just wants to, be a rowdy little loner space cowboy person, but, underwater. This movie just felt so tonally all over the place. It feels like they didn't know what they wanted to do with Aquaman's character, so they literally just said, hey, Jason Momoa, go be yourself, have fun, and have a blast. And they didn't give him, like I said, any character development. He doesn't have any character arcs. He's just fun flying around, and I feel like that works when he's a side character, but he's the main character of this movie, and it doesn't feel like it. And it's weird because no one in this movie feels like the main character, except for in the first 20 minutes, Black Manta feels like the main character, and he kind of feels like the person we should be rooting for, because aside from us knowing Aquaman is a good guy because he's fought with the Justice League, if you watch this movie having no idea who Aquaman is, he seems like a dick, and he kind of seems like he deserves what what Black Manta is trying to do to him. And it's so weird because it's like they never really made an effort to make Aquaman likable. They never really made an effort to make Aquaman heroic, because like I said, in this entire movie, he pretty much doesn't save people, like, at all. In fact, he gets saved more often than he saves people. And I was really hoping that by the end of the movie, maybe they'd, like, save that. No, not really. Like, I feel like he gets saved by Orm probably about 6 or 7 times throughout the movie. He gets saved by Mera multiple times in the movies, which that's a whole other tangent that I'm going to get to in a second. Aquaman felt like a terrible Aquaman in this movie, which is crazy because Jason Momoa was pretty perfect casting for Aquaman. And I just feel like the writing and the scripts did not give us an Aquaman level story. We just had an incredible first movie with him having this beautiful character arc of becoming a super worthy person, becoming a king, and realizing that him being able to be, the leader on land and the leader in the water is like the best of both worlds, and it's going to be great, and it's going to help him bring the two worlds together. And they do nothing with that. They set up this movie to have a really, really great place to go with his character, and they didn't do it. And it doesn't even feel like he's king in this movie. And I really, really am annoyed by that. But yeah, so that's neither here nor there. That's just, if you're going to have a character and you're going to be doing a sequel, you should make it feel like it at least somewhat connects to the first one. Because, like, aside from it literally having scenes from the first movie just planted in this movie to kind of remind us, hey, these people have interacted before, it literally feels like a completely different movie with a completely different group of characters that's just played by the same cast. And it's kind of annoying. But that being said, now I'm going to complain about the Amber Heard thing, because this is something that I feel like has been kind of screwing over TV shows and movies recently with superhero-related stuff. Somebody who does problematic things behind screen, I feel like you should still try your best to, if they were in the original script and they filmed all their stuff and they did all their things, whatever, before things went bad and they went on trial or whatever, you should just go through with the story you have, because trying to change things makes it feel like it's an incomplete story. And I feel like there was a lot of stuff that was supposed to happen with Amber Heard's character that doesn't happen in the movie. So every time she shows up, it's when something really, really important and crucial to the story needs to happen, where she needs to be there. And it makes it feel so weird, because Aquaman and Orm are fighting alongside each other. They're fighting these giant weird submarine things that have the weird tentacles, and they're both losing this fight. They're getting overwhelmed incredibly badly. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, even though we haven't seen her pretty much the entire movie, Amber Heard's character comes and saves the day. Okay, that's cool. I don't have a problem with a woman saving the day, but I have a problem with the fact that we have no idea where she's been the entire movie. She comes in, she doesn't have any lines, because I feel like they probably cut it all out. And, it's so weird. She comes in, she's completely silent, she saves the day, that's it. Then we go into the next scene. Also, the editing of this movie, really weird. We're just jumping from scene to scene to scene to scene to scene. There's one sequence where, you've seen it in the trailer, if you've seen the trailer, that Arthur, Curry, lighthouse gets burnt down or whatever, and, Arthur gets there in time, he takes his father out of the house or whatever, and they find out that Black Manta stole the baby, and, he screams, and for some reason, they, put it in slow motion, but they didn't slow motion his scream, and then also the slow-mo was, really, staggered, and it was really, really weird. That was a really weird editing choice, and then, like I said, then it just cuts off immediately. And they do that, 6 or 7 times throughout the movie, where it's there's a sequence where it's if you gave it a second to breathe, it probably would have been a good scene, but it's okay, these people just had a really important conversation, something heartfelt, they're going on their adventure, and then it's just, oh, it's black screen now. And now we're on the other side of the planet, and it's so... It's it gives me whiplash. It's all over the place, and it's not confined to I don't know. It doesn't flow well, and it really bothers me a lot. But yeah, those are some of my main complaints. I want to go ahead and say this little disclaimer: if you are planning on watching the movie, if you are somebody who thinks that wokeness is killing movies, you are going to hate every single time Amber Heard is on screen. Because I swear, every single time she's on screen, it's just to save Aquaman, and then she goes away again. Because it happens like 4 or 5 times in the movie where Aquaman is like being beaten down. It seems like he's gonna get overpowered. He's gonna be defeated, and I'm waiting for Orm to come in and save the day, and then all of a sudden it's just Mera, and it's like, where has she been the entire movie? She's just here now. And, like, I kind of wish that, like, they had just, like, kind of, like, took their losses and they were like, well, she did all these terrible things. People aren't going to like the fact that she's in the movie. But the movie doesn't work without her subplots that were supposed to be in there. Because I feel like he's a father, but they don't do, like, any of the stuff with the kid. And I feel like part of that is probably because a lot of the scenes that they were going to have with him and his kid probably also had to do with the mother of the kid. I don't know. This movie felt weird. It felt incomplete. It felt like a terrible kind of like just putting a bunch of random scenes together and hoping that it sticks. And I really did not like it. I really wanted to like it though because, like I said, TikTok recently has been blowing my mind with some of these scenes of Orm and Aquaman together. And I'm like, let's go. We're going to have this fun little brotherly bond. And everything with that is fun, right? When they first get to the little island or whatever that they're going to, that's cool. Their little jungle adventure scenes are pretty cool. When they first break Orm out of prison and he escapes and they like have their little runaway scene, pretty cool. Like I said, there's some decent action sequences in here, but overall, it's just a giant mess that I feel like is not worth it at all. But yeah, that being said, I'm going to give this movie a final score of 32 out of 100. I think that somehow it might be... No, it's not. I was going to say it might somehow be worse than Wonder Woman 84 for me. That's probably still the worst in the DCEU movies. But yeah, those are going to be hard movies to rank because they added 4 movies this year that are probably all going straight to the bottom of that ranking video, which by the way is probably going to be up on the channel in a couple of days. So if you're excited for that, stick around. But yeah, I'm going to head out for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe. I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bow. Bow. Bow.
He wanted me to drop a verse, I did this. We planned a day and then we did this. Wanna be in love with the girls with the kisses. Don't give a damn, I'll rid this. I like this when I run the distance. I run a 5K, you go ballistics. I wanna live within the business. Buy more than what's on the clearances. You're getting big cause I know you're a physicist. I wanna deny this shit, I'm unlimited.